Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the iFormula League F1 Series Round 2. As always, I'm your host, James East, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p 60 frames a second on behalf of iFormulaLeague.com. Right now, drivers out on track here in qualifying. Current points leader, the number 82 machine, Hoagland, in the top spot. He is almost 2/10 faster than Emilia, sporting that number 11 machine. So it is going to be a good one here. As we watched last week, one of the most exciting races we've ever seen here at the iFormula Series. The F1 drivers having a great go as always as we check in on the current pole setter and championship leader. Oh, he's got problems out on track. That looked like it was Larson having an off-track excursion. We've had 15 drivers put down qualifying time so far. Troy Banks, the American in the number 8 machine, yet to put down a qualifying time here. So let's see if he's going to be able to make it out and make it to the grid. Let's see, does Hoagland improve on that 115.689 as he gets ready to cross the start-finish line? Should have time for one more lap here. Definitely a out lap or a slow lap for Hoagland on 121.52 that last time by. So if we're going to see a flyer, I think now is going to be the time. Emilia also out on track trying to dethrone that 82 machine. The orange and black number 11. Going to be interested to see how things go in the feature event here at Imola. Hoagland, the odds-on favorite to bring home the top spot, but we've had a bunch of fast drivers show up for the season opening. If I'm looking at this correctly, I believe 21 drivers made their way out last week to open up the season. Looks like we've only got 16 out on track so far today, so 5 drivers or so unable to make their way out to the second round of the season. Matthew Walters currently third in qualifying, has put it back behind the wall, and it looks like Iliano is going to come to a rest as well as Hoagland, a 115.65, improving on that qualifying time by 0.03 of a second. So finding some pace late into the qualifying run. Jason Hasler still out on track, the number 4, currently qualified 7th. Needs to find about 6 more tenths if he wants to move up into the top 5. No, let's make it about 8 more tenths. As I just saw Rolly Shilter, the 125, move up to 4th in quali. Hasler heavy on the gas. Oh, a little bit of a bobble there. Not quite sure who that was, but a driver sees that Hasler is on a flying lap, quickly hops it out of the way. It's going to be close, only about 30 seconds left in this qualifying session. Then we will run to the heat race, the feature event, and then we will have a very brief intermission before the action-packed sprint race. Hasler down pit road. Looks like just about everybody else has wrapped up qualifying here. And I believe once the checkered is thrown, that will end the session. I don't believe there will be, yes, I'm correct, that a abrupt end to the session as we get ready to start things off here, the feature event here at the iFormula F1 Series. Waiting for drivers to make their way out onto the grid. And let's go ahead and run through the starting order here today. Starting on pole, Hoagland and the O2 machine. Iliano starting second. We've got Matthew Welter starting third, Rolly Schittler starting fourth. We've got Maximilian Thiel starting fifth, Jason Hasler starting sixth, Chapelone, starting seventh, Alexander Shana starting eighth, Frederick Larson starts ninth, Frankie starting 10th, Jesus Altuve starts 11th, Jacob Beezer starting 12th, cycling it on back, Frank Beezer starting 13th, David Robson starting 14th, Pierre Montiel starting 15th, and Troy Banks will round out the 16-car grid here today. Going in that number one spot, the Racing Lab eSport driver. Waiting on a few more drivers to take the grid. And looks like the grid is set. Here to start things off for the feature event. We get ready for the lights to come on, the engines rev up. And we are green flag racing here at Emilia, the feature event. Alrighty, we've got some off-track excursions. It's a big carnage. Troy Banks, Beezer, Larson, all tied up in that one. Oh, that's way too slow of a replay. There we go. Oh, it's just a massive incident while that's going on. Jesus Altuve also showing involved in an incident. So we've got carnage all over the track. Frank Beezer, Troy Banks, Jesus Altuve have all taken a tow back to pit road. I don't know if we're going to see them rejoin the circuit here or not. Oh no, and the leader is spun! Hoagland goes around, tags the wall. There goes Iliano, there goes Schiller, there goes the entirety of the field. As your championship points leader finds himself pointing in the wrong direction, and the hits just keep coming. Here comes Iliano spun around. Absolute carnage out on track. But that is going to put Rolly Schiller, the 125, now as your race leader. We're going to try and get these replays queued up for the fans at home. My goodness, what an event this is shaping up to be very early on the opening laps. Schiller has pulled a massive 2-second gap on the rest of the field. And let's get the replay queued up of your points leader having a very inopportune moment. Just grabs too much curbing, sends it around, and has to watch the field go barreling by here. Another crash report. This time it's Jacob Beezer involved in an incident. He takes a tow back to pit road, as well as Chapelone. We're not going to have many drivers left by the time it's all said and done. Beezer, let's see who that's. Oh, that was Chaperone. Both drivers, hard impact, and just unable to get away from each other. These machines do not bode well for any wheel-to-wheel contact. Now it is a 32-lap main event. Hopefully we can see some of these drivers return out on track, because we have quickly whittled it down to only 11 racers on the circuit. Schiller, your race leader, he's on medium steel, and second is running softs. Now we do not quite know what the pit window is going to be for these drivers, as we've got the intervals pulled up the left side of your screen now. Looks like Frank Beezer and Troy Banks are going to try and turn out on track. as Schiller already has lap traffic to contend with. That was Montiel in the 33 machine running 11th. Now drivers do have one fast repair in the back pocket to try and get back out on track. But here comes Steele, who's been able to work traffic just a little bit cleaner than your race leader Schiller, has rapidly closed the gap within 0.4 of a second. I wonder if that 34's machine's tires may be coming up to temp now and starting to hit their optimal portion. Schiller up front in second, stalking Thiel's 34. And let's watch that pass once more for the fans at home. There is Steele working the draft, pulls up alongside, making very quick work at the 125. But if these opening laps are anything to go off of, it is all but decided. Meanwhile, we have a very great battle for 6. Robson and Walters, the 99 versus the 27, both on the soft compound tires. Oh, and then we've got Calamity. Robson off track. And it looks like that was Ogland. No, that was somebody else, somebody I think a lap back. Let's see what happened to Robson. I'm not sure. Oh, let's back that up a little bit. I'm not sure if there was contact there in the braking zone. Let's see if we can get a slightly different angle. Looks like Robson may get a little bit of help from behind and gets punted off the circuit. Robson takes that opportunity to come down pit road. Ogland, the 82 machine, sets the fastest lap of the race, a 118.24, after having to box very early to get repairs done. Now, interesting, Robson's going to come out on track, that 99 on the hard compound tire, so taking this opportunity to go ahead and throw some different rubber underneath them. Well, looks like Schiller closing the gap back to within a half second. At least 6 laps into this 32-lap feature event, and we have definitely seen some fireworks so far. I've got to say, I don't believe I've called one of the F1 races here at the iFormula series before, just the Formula 3s that they run on Sundays. And I've got to say, this is quite a show for the fans at home. Speaking of fans at home, let us know where you're from, who you're cheering on, as the drivers will be going back and watching the broadcast later on. Now, it seems like Schilter in the 125, maybe backing off a little bit. Maybe trying to keep some clean air on the front of that 125. So Thiel and Schilter cross the line about 0.4 apart from each other. Schilter closing the gap very, very quickly there. Back within 0.3 of the race leader, but then see he lifts slightly. I'm not sure if that's the difference between tire compounds or maybe a bit of race strategy in play. Got three distinct groups of drivers out on track. Looks like Hasler may have had a little bit of a bobble as Frankie Francicia and Iliano start to close the gap. They're running 4th and 5th behind that 3rd place number 4 machine. Oh, and we've got more problems out on track. This time Frederick Larson finds himself pointed the wrong way around. Looks like it's going to be a solo car incident. Maybe a little bit too much curbing. Around he goes. Thankfully, other drivers able to avoid him as he quickly gets that thing spun around. That number 7 machine fired back up in the right direction. As we're back to the battle for 4th, it's Iliano versus Francicia. A 1/4 of a second and closing fast between the two. Iliano's got a big run here, hops out of the draft, pulls up alongside, and rockets ahead into the 4th place position. But that has given Hasler almost a full second advantage as he holds on to that final podium spot. Meanwhile, Alexander Shauna has moved up into 6th. That is his 2nd position gain, this time against Matthew Walters and the number 27. Shauna's going to keep his head down. He's 7.3 seconds back from Francicia in 5th, but it is a very long race here at Imola. And things are starting to tighten up a little bit for 3rd. On screen, Jason Hasler's number 4 machine. He's getting Iliano and Francicia right in tow. The California native wants to keep Iliano and Francicia battling behind him. Chilter still about 4/10 back from race leader Thiel. They've been back and forth here. A bit of a yo-yo between those two drivers. Now, we did get the report that Jacob Beezer and Jesus Altu have both retired from this feature event. Hopefully we see them back out on track for the sprint race to follow. As this is a really quick and tight pack. Ogland back in 8th. Once again, the fastest lap of the race on 118.23 on the soft compound tires. Seems like those tires worth about 7/10 here at this stage of the run. Here we go. Iliano's got a big run, pulls up alongside Hasler for 3rd. Takes over the spot, moves up into that final podium position. Meanwhile, Francicia has fallen back slightly. And now Iliano is going to keep his head forward. He's about 5.5 seconds back from Thiel in that 34. As apparently we have missed a pass for the lead. Chilter has taken over the number 1 spot once more in the 125. Not wanting to play second fiddle any longer. A very clean move there. Takes over and very quickly puts a gap on Thiel. 10 laps in, are we starting to see the tire fall off as the 34 machine does come down pit road? Let's see what tires he puts on next. See the 34 on pit road. Now it's Chilter, Iliano, Hasler, your top three. Franchicha moves up to fourth. I believe Shauna may be able to squeeze into fifth. Yes, there he goes. As Steele is on pit road. In and out of his stall, 4.95 seconds for the number 34 machine. Oglen back in seventh in that 82, qualified on pole, still putting down fast laps on 118.16. We have not seen much tire fall off from him. So after a bit of an early pit stop, Maximilian Thiel all the way back in eighth, comes out on track with the medium compound tires. A possible battle for second shaping up. Jason Hasler about 3/4 of a second off the back gearbox of Iliano in that number 11. Hasler doing everything he can to close that gap. As we're on board that number 4 machine. Oh, as I say that, a huge moment for Iliano. Able to hold on to it, but Hasler will be gifted the second place position after a massive moment for the Italian in the number 11 machine. It is not over until it's over. Now all your top 4 drivers are on the medium compound. It looked like a little bit of a bobble there from Hasler. Man, oh man, only 13 laps in. We're not even to the halfway mark yet. We've only seen Thiel so far come down pit road with that lap 10 pit stop. And I'm not sure if that was an undercut strategy or maybe a move of necessity. Hasler trying to get his wits back underneath him after that massive moment. He's fallen back about, let's call it about 9/10. It's been going back and forth between 8/10 and a full second between himself and Iliano. But keeping the head down to try and make something happen. Capellone out on track, kind of in no man's land, that 81 after a rough opening, falling back about 4 spots. But still keeping that forward momentum. Hasler in third. Now Hasler has Franchicha coming up behind. Hasler had an off track. And this is where problems can start to multiply for drivers. If you have one moment, you get a little bit too much heat in the tires, you get a little bit frustrated. Sometimes those mistakes can compound ever so slightly. As we watch Franchicha also on the mediums, closing the gap to within 0.3 of a second, picking up the draft off the number 4, but also looking for a little bit of clean air out there. Franchicia has that forward momentum. Haesler driving a little bit of red mist. Able to hold on to it though, hold on to that third place spot. Oh, another driver going back to pit road. This time it's David Robson, takes a tow after a moment. Let's see what happens. Oh, net code for days. Let's watch that one once more. That was violent net code. I don't think Robson had any idea that was going to happen. I mean, a country mile between the two. Robson just gets punted there. That is one of the only downsides of racing internationally is sometimes the sim does not get it right. Matthew Walters down pit road, takes 5.2 seconds in his stall, rolls out on track with the medium compound underneath him. Chilter cruising up there in the 125 machine. Again, your top four drivers all on the mediums. Alexander Shana, our current fastest driver, with softs underneath. Oglen in the 82 also on softs, sitting in sixth place. Looks like Shana about 8/10 off his fastest lap of the race. And speaking of race, Haesler and Franchicia still going at it here for third. Franchicia had taken over the third place spot. Haesler fired back. And these two still going at it. Franchicia tries the long way around, makes it happen. Takes the clean air off the nose of that number 4 machine. Haesler doing a great job staying right there with him. Now up front, Chilter just checking out, 8.6 seconds ahead of Iliano. Iliano 6.3 up over this very heated battle for third. Franchicia versus Haesler. Neither driver is going to gain too much momentum here as they are heavy back and forth. Now we're still waiting for your top 5 drivers to come down pit road. Oglen in the 82, he came down on lap 1, but that was out of necessity to get that machine fixed back up after a massive off-track moment. Franchicia down pit road for his first and what may most likely be, yes, his only stop of the race, I believe. I think they're going to be able to make this a one-stop race. Franchicia rolling out on soft, so we've already seen drivers such as Shana make it 18 laps into this run with fairly decent tire management. Shana, within 1/10 of his fastest lap of the race last time by, the 45. So doing an excellent job with tire management. We check back in with Shelter, the 125. Just absolutely cruising out here. 9.3 seconds up over Iliano. Schilter currently 10th in points. Racing with Intend Sim Racing. He did finish behind his teammate Iliano last week, but if the two can roll a first and second and really maximize team points, they would be looking good to maybe try and take that current team spot away from Quantum Dynamics. David Robson has been taking an extended stay on pit road. He's been in that pit stall for 5 minutes so far. Unfortunately, I believe his race is fairly much over at this point. And here we go, the race leader, Schilter, in pit road. I would imagine he's going to be rolling out on softs. His teammate Iliano comes down pit road as well. Third place, Jason Hasler, also down pit road. Alexander Shauna is going to stay out, I believe. Shauna stays out another lap in that 45. So does Hogland. So now currently it's Shauna, Ogland, Schilter, Thiel, Iliano, your top five, but we know Shauna and Ogland are gonna have to pit once more to make it till the end on fuel. 12 laps remain in this feature event. And then don't forget, we're gonna have a 5-minute intermission and we're gonna send the drivers right back out for the sprint race. Oh no, Shauna has an off track. That fuel saving could very quickly be undone here. Donna's 2.2 seconds up over Ogland. And stays out yet another lap on the softs. Now that time by, Sean was about a second off his fastest lap of the race. But again, has yet to come down pit road here and must be feeling pretty confident with the strategy. Because he knows that 82 machine behind him, also on softs, is going to have to pit. Donna came into this round 6th in points in that Knox eMotorsports number 45 machine. Wants to get a little bit of momentum built up this season. Let's see if we see that 45 come down pit road this time by, or if he's going to continue stretching the limits of both fuel and tire here. Ghana comes down pit road. Ogland stays out for another lap. Schilter moves up into second as the field works its way out on pit strategy. Looks like a little bit of a blink there from your race leader. But very easy to spot that 82 with the fluorescent green wheels. Really helps us see up here in the broadcast booth what tires he's running as he has a big moment. I wonder if that is the tire fall off we're seeing. Still has a 3.2 second gap over Schilter. But almost threw it away there. Ogden 6/10 slower than his fastest lap, but able to run this pace so late in the run with softs underneath him. Very impressive. Stays out for another one. And we'll get the credit for the lap led here at Emilia. Meanwhile, back in second, Schilter with the reds, the soft compounds. After that lap 19 pit stop, clicks off the fastest lap of the race at 1:17.88. Looks like only Schilter and Iliano have been able to get it into the 1:17 so far. Iliano's last time by a 1:17.98, so 1/10 off of the 125. And it looks like Iliano's starting to close that gap to Maximilian Thiel. Now, Thiel had a massive undercut, came down pit road on lap 10. I think Thiel can make it till the end here on fuel. It's going to be a little bit close, but surely he's done the calculations. Iliano getting closer and closer to striking distance of that number 34 machine. Oh, and a massive run for Iliano as he makes his way around Thiel. Moving up into what is now third, but this could very well be the battle for second because we're almost positive that 82 out front is going to have the box one more time to make it till the end. I just don't think there's enough fuel saving to make that happen. Iliano is stepping on the loud pedal, trying to break away from that 34 in tow. And looks like he's going to do it very quickly, gaining a 9/10 advantage to his name. We check back in on race leader. He qualified in the top spot, but had that opening lap just absolute disaster. Again, we think we're going to see that 82 machine down pit road one final time. He's been out there a very long time since his lap 1 pit stop. Just the necessity to get back out on track. Schilter closes the gap to 3/4 of a second. There's a little bit of lap traffic in play as well. Now we had a comment as well from Nicholas Journey, John Journey, saying these F1 drivers may not need to refuel here. I'll try and get some clarification on that. And tires will be the limiting factor. So if that is the case, the 82 machine is trying to save tires to make this thing till the end. If that is the case, it is going to be very impressive to try and salvage some points because Schilter in that 125 is closing quickly. And he has 18 lap fresher tires underneath him. As yes, the 82 will yield the position. Here comes Rolly Schilter, the 125, taking over the race lead. So Haugland trying to hold on to some points here. And what could be the most spectacular show of tire saving that I've ever seen. Schilter checking out 1.2 seconds up over Ogland. Ogland 9 seconds ahead of Iliano, but bleeding time here. Iliano was almost 8/10 faster last lap by. With 6 laps left to go, I think that 82 machine may be in a tough spot if he wants to hold on to second. Maximilian Field also not too far behind Iliano, about 2 seconds back. So we're going to see just how much tire saving that 82 can do. And here's a good battle for 7th. Alexander Shauna versus Matthew Walters in 7th. The 45 of Shauna, the 27 of Walters. At the very front, Schilter has just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.82, still finding time late into this feature event. Makes the pass against the number 27 of Walters, moves up to 7th. He's up 1 spot from where he qualified. Meanwhile, Walters having a rough go. He's down 5 positions. Walters came down pit road on lap 15, Shauna on lap 21. Both on the mediums at this point. And Shauna feeling good here, has the tire management down. We go back to Schilter. Quickly pulled a 2.6 second gap. Over 2 seconds faster than the current second place driver, who has been on softs an extremely long time. Now that is lap traffic behind the 82 machine, so not much of a concern. Iliano in 3rd, he's 8 seconds back right now. Ogland needs to hold on for 4 more laps, but if he's able to do so, he'll be running just about the entirety of the race with his soft compound tires. And I hope we have the opportunity to ask him why choose the softs over the mediums. We pan back to 3rd place driver Iliano, the number 11. Looks like he's still finding time and moving forward here. But with the laps clicking off, is it going to be enough? I'm looking forward to the lap time update as they both cross the line. About a quarter of the track left here before we see the live timing update. Ogland clicks off a 1:19.27. Iliano a 1:18.32, 9/10 faster than that second place driver. He is not going to have enough laps if all things stay the same here. Montiel down pit road for a second stop in that number 33 machine. Still up 2 positions from where he qualified. As I think the 82 really suffering from tire fall off. He is bleeding all sorts of time late in the run. Needs to survive 3 more laps. Has a little bit shy of 6 seconds up over Iliano. Schilter has checked out 4.3 seconds up in the race lead. So the million-dollar question is, how much tire saving can the 82 even do at this point? Just a couple of laps left to go, a 5-second advantage over third. Surely I would imagine, though, if Oglen can hold on to a podium position, even if it's not second, just third at this point, the points implications would be massive on what he could salvage out of a race that, for all intents and purposes, should have been over with from the beginning after that lap 1 incident. If he's able to come back and capitalize and salvage this many points, what a result that would be. And just the car control to be able to fight that machine at this point. On board with Iliano's number 11 machine. 1.3 seconds faster than the second place driver last time by. What a great perspective to show just how fast these drivers are getting around the circuit. Very little off-throttle time in these Formula One machines. And now Iliano has the rabbit to chase. He can see the second place driver not too far ahead. I'm expecting a fast lap out of that number 11 machine because the white flag will be out next time by for Schilter, the 125. 5.5 seconds up over the other podium contenders. And I've got to say, as a racer myself, being able to see those drivers ahead of you adds a little bit more fuel to the fire to keep that momentum going, gives you something to look and chase after as the white flag is out here for the feature event. Iliano is going to need a miracle. He's 3.3 seconds back from the battle for second. Hogland holding on with everything he has here. Iliano only 9/10 faster than that 82. Has to put in work whenever he can find it in the corners. He's got a little bit of lap traffic ahead. Oh, hopefully this doesn't play into a factor. Traffic sees the blue flag, hops out of the way. He's 2.3 seconds back from second. Let's make it 2, closing fast. Is Iliano gonna have enough time? Just out of the draft. Meanwhile, Schilter makes his way around the final couple of corners. Schilter's gonna pick up the win here at Emilia. Ogland is going to hold on to second, and Iliano will bring home third. Late into the race, Larson just clicks off the fastest lap of 1:17.37. As our drivers come to a stop and pull off of the circuit. Now don't go anywhere. We're going to have a very brief intermission and then roll right back out on track for the sprint race, followed by the podium interviews. As for your feature event, it was Schilter, the number 1 spot. Ogland finishing second. Iliano will round out the top 3 in the final podium spot. Thiel will finish 4th, and Francica will round out the top 5. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here at the iFormula Series. Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Fultz. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Morcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let it go very far.
Go out here for circuit spot, Frank and Sean. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
See just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
Smooth stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Romagna International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
All right, race fans, we are back. The intermission is over, and we get ready to line them up one final time at the iFormula F1 Series. It is going to be an action-packed sprint race here today as we get ready to line them up, and it is going to be an exciting one. The top 12 are inverted out on track. That's going to put Frank Beezer in the number 1 spot. Banks starting 2nd. Chapelone starting 3rd. Larson starts 4th. Walter starting 5th. Shauna starting 6th. Jason Hasler starting 7th. Franchicha starting 8th. Beal starting 9th. Iliano starts 10th. Oglen starting 11th. Schilter starting 12th. Montiel starts 13th. Robson starting 14th. Jacob Beezer starting 15th. And Jesus Altuve. Oh, we get a report. Jacob Beezer, Jesus Altuve will not make it onto the grid here. So it is going to be a 14-driver shootout, 10 laps. And I think I saw, yes, a big blink from Frank Beezer. Oh, a massive blink. Troy Banks is going to be an interesting spot here. Problems for Franchicha. And who is that? That was Maximilian Thiel and Chapelone, I believe. I see parts scattered everywhere. Chapelone with a big hit. Get that one queued up one more time. He had big issues. Does he get a little bit of help there? Maybe some netcode. And the wing just falls off in a very inopportune time. Really, I suppose there's no good time for that wing to be falling off. So Frank Beezer's going to hold on to the number 1 spot. He's got Troy Banks, Frederick Larson in hot pursuit. Looks like Larson's going to make a move up to 2nd. Jason Hasler still in 3rd. Alexander Shauna holding on to the 5th place spot. But there's a lot of action here in the battle for 2nd. Frank Beezer has his head down and has the forward momentum. Oh, and look at the 2 wide action right behind. Iliano and Shauna wheel to wheel. Troy Banks has fallen way back. All the way back to 10th. Chapelone eventually takes a tow back to pit road, but look at this battle for 4th. Shauna and Iliano can't get away from each other. Even more wheel-to-wheel action. Hasler putting the pressure on Larson in the battle for 2nd. Remember, these drivers only have 10 laps to make something happen. Fuel and tires not going to be a concern. Only 2 drivers started out on mediums. That was Montiel as well as Thiel. And it looks like up front, Frank Beezer is going to have company from Larson. And we are side by side for the lead here at Emilia. It's Larson and Beezer wheel to wheel. Larson takes over the spot. That could allow Jason Hasler in 3rd as we got a bit of a lockup there from Beezer. David Robson has taken a tow back to pit road the 99. He is effectively out of the sprint race. And now it's going to be Larson's turn to put the hammer down as Jason Hasler, Frank Beeser side by side, Alexander Shanna. Oh, looks to make it a three-car battle. Beeser off track. Who was that? That was also Jason Hasler. So both drivers off track. Hasler throws it away. Beesler follows right behind. The two very fast drivers suddenly out of contention. Larson in first and Iliano second. Alexander Shanna sitting in third now. It is very quickly becoming a sprint race of attrition. We know Iliano had great pace in the feature. He's 2 seconds back from Larson. Shanna 1.1 second back from the 11 of Iliano. Shanna may have a little bit of pressure from behind with Matthew Walters, the number 27 machine. Then we have a comfortable 1.4 second gap before you've got Franchicha, Chilter, and Ogland linked up 5th, 6th, and 7th. Matthew Walters just clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 1:18.58. Now, during the feature, we saw drivers get down into the 1:17s. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case because things are starting to tighten up from third place back. You've got Shano, Walters, Chilter, Ogland, Franchicha. That is third through 7th place. Nose to wing here. Field way back in 10th, just clicks off a 1:17.84 on the medium tires. Unfortunately, with how short the sprint race is, I don't think he's going to be able to do much with that. He is about 38 seconds back from this podium battle. Now it's going to be a game of consistency. Everybody inside the top 8 all rolling out in this sprint on the soft compound tires. On board with the 82 machine. Ooh, just out of frame, but very, very close. Look how heated this battle is becoming. Let's move the camera forward a little bit closer up. On board with Schilter, the 125. Takes a peek at the inside line of Walters, backs out of it, maybe throwing a slight jab there to try and get Walters a little bit off pace and maybe think of that he's going to make a big gutsy move to the inside. Donna fighting tooth and nail to hold on to that podium spot. 2.6 seconds back from Iliano. Iliano and Larson, second and first, checking out at this one. They've got clean air in front of them. Nobody immediately off their back wing and just rocking and rolling here. But Shauna has all sorts of pressure. I mean, Walters, Chilter, Ogland, Franchicha. That's a lot of talent in one tidy pack. Walters makes the move for that final podium spot. Shauna gets pushed back to 4th, make it 5th, and Shauna off track. That was a long crash for Shauna, an absolute shame. Just too much curbing, pitches the car up into the air and just can't get it slowed down. And unfortunately, Shauna's going to try and limp it around here to salvage a points. Absolute gut-wrenching for that 45. He's driving so extremely well here. And that is going to put the battle for 3rd now between Walters and Schilter. So the top three all but decided. All eyes on Walters, Schilter, and Hogland. Dono was able to limp it back to his pit stall. And here we go, the battle for third. Schilter makes the move on Walters, moves up in that final podium spot. 3 laps left to go. Schilter is 3.5 seconds back from Iliano. And another crash report. This time it's going to be Montiel triggering the software. The lights come on. Oh, there was definitely contact between the two. I think that may have been Maximilian involved in that one. So contact between the two drivers. Schilter getting in a groove, checking out over Walters. Walters has company from that 82 machine who has been shadowing his every move here. If Ogland can't quickly facilitate a pass on Walters, he will lose any shot that he has at a back-to-back podium. Or excuse me, a podium. No, back-to-back, my apologies. Always a lot of fun broadcasting the sprint races. No fuel stops, no tire changes. Just wide open for as long as you can take it. And here we go. Ogland makes a move up into fourth. Meanwhile, Schilter, a 117.54. Absolutely ripping here at Imola, a full 0.3 faster than any other driver out on track. And it looks like race leader Larson might have some company. Iliano closing that gap to your race leader, 3/4 of a second separating the two. Wondering if maybe Larson had some sort of moment out on track. But with just a couple short laps left to go in this sprint race, will we see a battle for the lead unfold? Or is Larson going to find a little bit more pace late into the run? Tire management not a major concern for these drivers, but here comes Iliano. Closes it to 3/10, using the draft 1/4 of a second hard into the braking zone. Drivers hitting speeds in excess of 190 miles an hour out on the circuit. Oh, and we are definitely going to have a battle for the lead. A little bit of a bobble from Larson. The back end steps out. Both drivers heavy, using everything to their ability. Into the braking, Iliano mirroring Larson through here. Larson pushes a little bit wide. Four tenths between the two. Iliano has all the draft he can look for, keeping the pressure on Larson's number 7 machine. White flag will be out this time by, and we are about to see some fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. The battle for the lead. If Iliano is going to take a shot at it, this is going to be at their side-by-side. Iliano takes over the race lead into the braking zone. Larson tucks in right behind. Will Larson have enough time to fire back here? Three-tenths separating the two. Looks like Larson pushes a little bit wide early apexes. Iliano able to pull a little bit of a gap there. Does Larson have anything left in the tank? It's a half lap left to go here in the sprint. Lap traffic hops out of the way of the race leaders. 1/4 of a lap left to go. Still 4/10 separating these two drivers. I think Iliano is going to be able to hold on to it here unless he has a major moment. Here comes Iliano to bring home the sprint win. Great racing between the two. Larson will finish second. And it's going to be Schilter bringing it home in the third place position. Great racing amongst these competitors here today. Putting on an absolute show for the fans. And a bit of a virtual wave out the window, a little bit of a salute. Boat driver saying, hey, that was a spectacular race on that one. We're going to try and get drivers from both feature event and the sprint race up here into the waiting room. We're going to start things off with our sprint race. We're waiting for our drivers to get up here to the waiting room. And we will start things off with the feature interviews here today. So still waiting for our drivers to make their way up into the waiting room. We're on second call. Looks like we're starting to get drivers making their way up. We've got Larson. We've got Oglin in the 82. Still waiting on Iliano and Schilter. And then we will be able to get things going here. Looks like we're getting just about everybody here. So we will start things off with Iliano bringing home the third in the feature event, a first in the sprint. You've got to be absolutely ecstatic with how the afternoon went for you in that number 11 machine.
Yeah, I can't complain, all things considered. It was a pretty good race, both of them.
Now, during the feature event, able to keep things relatively calm, but were you expecting so much carnage and so many accidents in those opening laps here at Imola?
Yeah, it's always like that.
Now, what do you think tends to lead to that? Is it the long straights and the aggressive brakings? Is it just so many drivers in a small area? What do you think causes that?
Yeah, well, of course, everyone wants to win, and if you're ahead, it's better, and the chicanes are quite dangerous here at Imola.
Well, it seems like you pulled it off well, bringing home a third. Don't go too far because we're going to pull you back up here for the sprint results as well. But anybody you want to thank just specifically for the feature event results for you?
Well, just everybody here racing. It's lots of fun, and my girlfriend for cheering for me while I'm racing.
Well, awesome. Tip of the hat to her, and good to have you up here, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Iliano bringing home the third in the feature event. Up next, we've got Oglin in the 82 machine bringing home a second in the feature. Seemed like it was a rough night or rough evening from start to finish, but still able to bring home some good points here tonight.
Oh yes, it's so easy. Just crash on lap 1 and do 31 laps on soft,
Yeah,
and you should be okay.
I was gonna ask about that. I mean, I've never seen so much tire management. How much of a handful was that machine by the end of that feature event?
Oh, I got really, really funky in the end. And I do suspect that Gianluca didn't understand what I was doing before the end, because suddenly it really turned up the pace and almost caught me.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a very gutsy strategy, but being forced into that position, did that give you a little bit more confidence for later in the race and maybe later in the series that now you know, hey, this is possible?
Yeah. I think it's possible to take these tires really long if you don't lock up. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. So if you like crash on the first lap, you just it is possible to go the whole race. And also the temperature on this track was really good, so there wasn't that much tire wear. So it felt kind of good. So it's good to know that you can come back even though if you spin on lap 1.
Well, I'm glad you're able to overcome a very rough opening lap. I know this is going to be big for the points, but able to capitalize. But before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps you bring home such a great result here in the feature?
I got my teammate Yair. He's the coolest guy ever. So he's like Mr. Positive in the whole race. So that was so cool. He's gonna become fast really quickly now. He's in the training program now. He's probably doing push-ups in his living room to get ready for the next race. But other than that, I think we're gonna have some fun races and a fun league. And thank you to you guys that do the broadcast and do all the work around it. I really appreciate it. So this is the most fun league for me to race in.
Well,
So thank you very much to you guys.
we couldn't do it without you guys. Absolute pleasure meeting you and hope to have you back up here in the booth more often.
Oh, me too. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. That was Oglin in the 82 machine, bringing it home in second for the feature event. But now we've got Mr. Shilter in the 125 machine, bringing home the win in the feature. And man, what an up and down night all across the board here at Imola.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a fun race, great race. Quali was decent, but yeah, it was a good race.
Now it seemed like there was a lot of carnage and a lot of maybe problems breaking away from other drivers once they were in the draft. How were you able to overcome that in the race, or what was the strategy coming into tonight?
Um, I think I got a bit lucky. Everyone around me was basically making mistakes. So I think after 2 laps, I had a gap, and I realized that I was fast enough, like if I just keep going, then I'm faster than maybe the cars behind me. So yeah, that's just what I did.
It seemed like it worked out very well for you in the feature, and now let us translate to the top three for the sprint race. You've got 10 laps. You're starting back in the meat grinder, back in that 12th place position, able to gain 9 laps over the course of the race. How do you keep yourself out of the vortex of danger when cutting through the field in an event like this?
It's just patience. I think it's all about patience. And I think Oyvind and I, we both stayed behind. We couldn't overtake in the first few laps. And I think just like lifting, even if you are a bit faster, you just need to wait until it's your time. The drawback is I mean, after you catch up, the cars in front might be too far, which was a bit the case today. But also the other top two were very quick, so it would have been hard either way.
Well, it seems like it all went well for you. A massive points night for you in that 125 machine. I know you and everybody else is ecstatic and just a great run all the way around. So before I let you sign off, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped bring home these good results for you?
I mean, definitely my team Intent and Gianluca. It's always good to chat with him about strategy, fuel. So really helpful.
Well, hey, good to have you back up here once more. A great performance, a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully we have you up here more in the near future.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Schilter in the 125 machine, bringing home a third in the sprint race. Up next, we've got Larson bringing home a second in the number 7 machine. Larson, a great race, a lot of fun to watch that one, and man, what a heated battle across the board.
Yeah, I think I did something stupid, to be honest. I should just have let him go a lap before, and then I could overtake him again instead of overtaking him after the checkered flag. But it is what it is.
Yeah, that's always a tough spot to be in. It's, as a racer, we always want to be in front. We want to be charging forward, but it's kind of a game of high-speed chess in these Formula One machines with track position not always king. So, I mean, if you had to do it again, would you try and, follow behind a little bit and maybe make a move a lap earlier, or would you have tried to make that pass earlier and been more aggressive getting out front?
Now, I would actually just have been more. I would have saved more energy, and then just let him go, and just stay behind him to save energy, and then I would have overtaken on lap 9 instead of him overtaking me on lap 9, because DRS is basically king around this track. So if you are within that 1 second, you can easily overtake people.
Yeah, it seemed like you guys were absolutely mashing the button in that sprint race, trying to make something happen. And everybody was so equally matched on pace. But coming into tonight, you were 5th in points, taking away some good points as well at the end of it. So overall, you've got to be pretty pleased with that Lumos eMotorsports number 7 backed car.
Yeah, but both of us were kind of unlucky in the feature race, so that is a bit of a shame. I think if we didn't crash and had those problems, we would have been like at least in top 5, both of us. So that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, the sprint race worked out good for me, but I don't know about Eystein actually, whether or not. I saw he got spun out on lap 2, I think. Lap 1, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, that's a shame for him. But at least we got some points.
Yep, any points in a championship, better than nothing, and it's still a great run for you, that number 7. A lot of fun to watch. Before we let you sign off and celebrate and debrief with the team, who do you want to give a shout-out to that helps make this podium result possible for you?
Yeah, just Lumos in general. We have some great software for us to get faster. We are not hacking, by the way, not that. But like we have some great time comparisons, something software, so we can keep an eye on each other's lap times and see how each one achieves that certain lap time. So that's really great to have, and it helps us a lot getting quicker.
Yeah, I agree. The telemetry is so important. Well, Frederick, a pleasure talking to you. Hope you have up here more in the near future, and congratulations on a great second.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Larson bringing it home in second, but back up to the booth, Iliano, the number 11 machine. Welcome back. And man, on the top spot, up 9 positions, and great back and forth between you and Larson in those final laps.
Yeah, it was really, really nice. It was always fun racing when starting from the back, and Larson is really quick, so it was quite fun.
Now, Larson was saying he wished he maybe did a little bit of different race strategy late into the race, but it seemed like you had it figured out and you knew what track position you wanted to be in for these closing laps.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. I feel like I had the chance to overtake him like a couple laps to the end, but I knew he was thinking of doing that strategy, so I wanted to be second till the last lap.
Well, it seemed like it worked out very well for you, and after watching the feature event, seeing how hard drivers could push on the soft compounds, did that give you a little bit extra drive to keep in the gas throughout the entire 10 laps in the sprint?
Yeah, I actually didn't know that Oyvind was doing that all on the soft tire. I thought he was on hard, so I didn't have that information when I was racing. But overall, the tires were keeping up pretty well for the whole 10 laps for the sprint, so it was good.
Well, it seemed like a lot of fun, and we talked about it briefly for the feature event. A great points night for you and the Intense Sim Racing team. You came into this afternoon 4th in points, so gonna be a big jump up for you, especially when we saw so many drivers have many issues here today.
Yeah, there were a lot of crashes, and Rolly had an amazing day as well, so it was a great day for Intent overall.
Well, congratulations to you. Congratulations to the team. And you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the show. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped make today so successful for you?
I don't know. I like to take myself to keep it on track. But yeah, no, it's always really fun to race with everybody. And Imola is a great track, even though it was harder than I thought overtaking. So you kind of always had to wait for the main straight. But it was lots of fun.
Well, awesome. Hey, congratulations on a great win. A ton of fun for us up here in the booth as well as for the fans at home. And hope to have you back up here for many more weeks to come.
I hope so. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.
You as well. That was Iliano bringing it home in the top spot here at Emilia, accompanied by, in the sprint race, Frederick Larson and Schilter in the 125 machine finishing third. Just a great race start to finish. On behalf of the iFormula Racing Series, check them out if you want to get on the action, iFormulaLeague.com. My name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, and it's been an absolute privilege and a pleasure. I'll see you at the next one. Have a great day, everybody.